Do you remember what we did in a very brief lesson?
I do.
Okay. Could you go back and remember certain elements of it?
Yes.
In terms of breaking it down and then building it back up? What's the first thing that you did?
Well, the practicing of catching the one ball, getting kind of used
Throw
to
it
the
up.
weight.
And catch it. What are other things, building on what his experience was, being up here and being nervous and being in front of all you guys? What are some of the other breakdown things that happened in a juggling lesson?
Look for the peak.
Look for the peak. Remember it. Be aware that it happens at different places. Other things.
Don't be afraid to let go of those 3 balls.
Don't be afraid to let go of 3 balls. That actually is a key takeaway, I think, in some ways, because I think we sometimes hook onto things. We clench onto things. Do you ever have? Are you ever faced with multiple tasks at home or at work? What are some examples of multiple tasks that you have to handle?
Phones.
Is that here at work?
Yes.
All right, so you've got, lots of things. You wish you were an octopus. You wish you could, juggle those phones a little bit better. At home, other things, challenges. Someone comes in and says, "Hey, I need this in addition to the other couple of things you're doing." Things like that. Doing
Dishes.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. So in addition to, oh, by the way, we've got to get out of the house by such and so a time. Could you do this and that, and by the way, fit in this other thing? Sometimes we get overwhelmed by those sorts of things. But identifying the challenges, in this case, learning how to juggle, breaking it down and saying, okay, well, here's the part of it that's new or different. Someone came in and gave me a new assignment that I've got to finish before 5 o'clock today. Okay, how am I going to do that? You step back, you identify the challenge, the problem, the task, and then you integrate it into the whole. So with juggling, what were you focusing on? First, before Brian, in the audience, what were you focusing on as he was juggling? What were you looking at? Thinking about throwing the ball at yourself and observing him doing.
How far out they were going.
Okay? Doing the same thing that he was kind of unconsciously doing in terms of assessing. He wants to throw the ball either to his partner or to himself, and the brain's adjusting that. What things were you focused on, Brian? What things were challenging to you?
Definitely the peak. Being aware of that and the timing,
Yeah.
for sure.
What about, you had the challenge of holding onto the ball and then shuffling it over.
Yeah.
Did you think about that?
It was just all up here.
It was all
Just
there.
get rid of that 3rd ball, easiest way possible. Just.
So, I'll leave you, go ahead.
He also had to unlearn something, I think. He was doing what I always do, was shuffling one over to get it out of the way, for a little while.
Sure.
And then he unlearned that, because that wasn't part of what you were teaching him.
A lot of us think of juggling as this
That's right,
sort of
right.
thing, which is actually a kind of juggling,
Yeah.
which I can barely do. And it is juggling,
Right.
but there's an easier way that I found to get people going on it. That's the approach that I use so that you can break it down more easily, and then you can explore all of the sorts of other fun things. Now, in the breakdown approach, you focus on a little part of the challenge and get better at it. So tossing up, for some people, tossing up is innate, instinctive. For some people it's hard, because they can't get it out of their hand. They clench onto that particular thing. So you focus on it to try and unclench, and then release it into the big hole. So here's my final takeaway for you, for Joe. You have a problem, and you break it down to its simplest parts. Don't get stuck on the part that's most challenging. At some point, you gotta let go, as we do with juggling, and look at the big picture. So if you have an assignment that's due at 5 o'clock, Bill comes in and says, squeezes in, and you go, oh my gosh, how am I gonna do that? Step back, identify the scenario, prioritize, and then go forward. The prefrontal cortex is the brain's emergency brake. Sometimes it's good, and sometimes it's bad. And when we get stuck, we say, I can't release that ball, or I toss it over here all the time. You start to focus on that exclusively, and you don't see the whole picture. Sometimes you gotta step back, see the whole picture. I can do this, and let it flow. And I think if you remember how to juggle, or how to teach yourself how to juggle, or to teach a friend or a neighbor how to juggle, that might be a way to remember it. Thank you very much for letting me visit you.